all right, so you got to put yourself, an 18-year-old undeveloped brain. And I was facing 5 life sentences. I mean, to be exact. I mean, an undeveloped brain and having to adjust to be like, okay, when you face your life in prison, you kind of already, I gave up at the beginning. I was like, you know what? I'm never getting out again. Like, I'm never giving out again, because how I'm going to beat, you know what I mean? Coming from men of color, a lot of people don't be beating trial and stuff like that. So I kind of, I gave up. Like, man, I ain't never getting out of here. Like, you know what I mean? So I had to adjust to, the county and adjust my mentality to the prison life and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it wasn't good. Like that, like, you know what I mean? So you had to become somebody that you normally not. First of all, when I went to prison, I was like 145 pounds. So I had a reputation from the streets. So when everybody seen me, they was like, oh, that's him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, in prison, size matters. So they looking at it like, well, you ain't got no weapons in here. You gonna have to fight. So I learned that, like, if you don't fight, if you don't protect yourself, that you become food. Like, and becoming food meaning that they would extort you, take your stuff, beat you up, like, you know what I mean? Like all types of stuff. So you gotta kick up no matter how big the person is, whether you lose a fight, first thing in there, you gotta fight. You gotta be able to fight back. You gotta be able to stand for yourself. So now, on top of facing 5 life sentences, you gotta deal with this reality that's about to be your reality for the rest of your life. Like, you know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Like, and to the population, I didn't stress. They looked like, oh man, you never stress. But when I locked in that cell at nighttime, when you in that dark and you facing your thoughts, like, I used to get these migraine headaches. I just, like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, damn, what the fuck? How'd I put myself in this situation? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But at the same time, like, you know what I mean? You're only human. And I was a teenager. Like, so, that's like kind of one of the first things that you adjust. Like, you know what I mean? You can't trust nobody in there. Everybody criminals. So this is where they put the worst of the worst from society. So who you gonna trust? I was down Broadway State Prison, and I got into a fight with a CO. Long story short, he started with me on some abusive type shit, and I fought back. So as a result of it, I wound up doing 2 years in solitary confinement, which is ASEG. Like, so before you go to ASEG, you got like a 30-day lockdown period. Like, and when I say I had no socks, no shirt, they had me in a freezing cold room with one little blanket, no toilet paper, no soap, nothing. And when they would be spitting in my food, like, I mean, they would be spitting in my food. Like I said, when you were ASEG, they would bring the food to your door. And sometimes they would come to the door, open the port, and then dump the food in the trash and do an empty tray in there. So they were trying to, and they kept the lights on all night. Like, all night. You feel me? So, it was like, it was bad because I felt like, you know what I mean? You know how, I don't know, I mean, you get to that point to where you feel like, oh, they trying to get me. You know what I'm saying? And then they had me on a tier where all the medication people was at. So they be screaming and making all these, like, you know what I mean? Literally trying to, like, drive me crazy. And I got to a point where I used to kick the door for hours just to mess with the COs, just to fuck with the COs. Cause I'm like, they gonna fuck with me, I'm gonna fuck with them. Like, type shit, you know what I mean? Wow. Like, yeah, so, but I came up out of it, thank God. You know what I mean? And my man, I still remember his name, Ish. He was from North Jersey. He walked by my cell and he slid a Bible into my cell. Like, you know what I mean? And he was like, yo, read the book of Job. So I'm like, I ain't got nothing. So I got a Bible, so when I got to hide it, you know what I mean? So they don't take it from me and everything. Yeah. So I read the book of Job. And I ain't gonna lie, reading that book, it kind of brought me back to where, though, seeing what he'd been through, if you're familiar with the story.
Yeah.
Like he got everything taken from him. Children died. They took all his riches, and he wouldn't curse God. Like, you know what I'm saying? He wouldn't curse God. He wouldn't give up. And at the end, he got rewarded tenfold. So that kind of brought me back. Like, it was like inspiring, but you know what I mean? So